Hello and welcome to another edition of Youth Time on Benue Television. This is a program that discusses issues and matters pertaining to our young people in Nigeria. I am Dorcas Chia and I'm here as usual with my co-presenter.
My name is Jude Alaki, and it's good to be with you on the program, Dorcas.
It's good to see you once again, Jude. How's the week been?
Beautiful, you look bright.
Thank you very much. The Lord is doing it.
Okay, well, today we'll be looking at a very important topic that concerns young people in Benue and, of course, in the world over. This is something that has bothered a lot of parents, bothered a lot of teachers, bothered a lot of mentors, bothered a lot of, people in the society generally. We're looking at drug abuse, the causes, the effects, and some of the signs, the symptoms of persons who engage in drug abuse, and also how these young people can actually get out of this habit, or should I say, the challenge that a lot of them have come to face.
Well, this is something that has been bothering the society at large, because every day we're having issues of young people indulging in drugs. You see, they are into things like codeine, even alcohol, and it's becoming very alarming. If you go to the psychiatric hospitals, you see a lot of young people there, and it's something that is very worrisome and this issue needs to be tackled. So for me, I feel this is a very great topic to talk about today.
Of course.
Well, we have our guests in the studio who are going to throw more light on this issue. They are professionals and they are experts in this field. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to introduce them.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Youth Time on Benue Television, Makadi. Well, like we told you before, we're looking at drug abuse among young people. And we have our guest already seated. So we have with us Mr. Aboje Ojebe. He is the Executive Director of Sound Life Initiative and a clinical psychologist and substance abuse and prevention practitioner. Good to have you in our studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we also have with us Dr. Simon Itodo. Dr. Simon Itodo is a senior clinical psychologist with Federal Medical Center, Makadi. He is also a substance use disorders counselor. He is the Benue State Coordinator of International Society of Substance Use Professionals, ISO. He is also a member of Nigerian Psychological Association and Nigerian Association of Clinical Psychologists. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Very good to have you.
Thank you very much.
We'll start with you, Dr. Simon Itodo. What do you mean when you say drug abuse?
Okay, thank you very much. Before you look at what drug abuse is, it is pertinent to understand or know what is a drug. And in doing that, I want us to look at drug from two perspectives. From perspective of medicine and from perspective of common usage in our environment and society. From perspective of medicine, a drug is any substance that has a potential to cure an illness or disease and enhance somebody's mental and physical well-being. That's from the perspective of we're talking medically. Then in common usage, you can talk about drug as any substance that is used non-medically. And so when you put this into perspective, then you can now understand what it means when you say somebody is abusing drug or drug abuse. Drug abuse have several definitions, which I'll try to highlight briefly. One is when you use drug excessively, more than the required dose in terms of prescription drugs. It's also required when you are using drug and it is harmful to you and maybe to other people. It's also referred to taking medication that are illicit, no matter the amount and frequency, and it's affecting your daily physical, social, and emotional functioning. It also refers to taking drug that affect changes your mood, the way you perceive things, and how you alcohol. If your alcohol is given to you, okay, if the doctor says take, for instance, a bottle,
That make them engage in this act.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, as a practicing psychologist, one of the major objective of our discipline, thank that I'm happy my colleague here is a psychologist too. We do not stay at the realm of just describing the behavior that's been elicited. We go further to explain why a behavior is being elicited, why we have, why something is being done, and if we are able to establish the cause-effect relationship, then we'll be able to control, be able to prefer solution. So getting to the realm of explaining why the reason behind something gives us an edge towards profiling solution. So there are reasons why a lot of young people, use substance abuse drug rather. You have made a very concrete statement that is in line with statistics. Over 70% of people who use drugs, who use psychoactive drugs or illicit drugs in Nigeria, over 70% of them are young people, between the age of 12 to 18. And there are a lot of reasons why, a lot of factors why, people use drugs. I would like to begin by, I'll mention them and then just talk about it a little as we progress. One of the first reasons why a lot of young people use substance or abuse substance is peer pressure. Yes, peer pressure is at the forefront of the factors that we deal with when we are looking at substance abuse and why people abuse drugs. Peer pressure refers to the influence of friends. When a young person is being convinced by his or her friends, the people he or she moves around with, and you see a lot of young people use substance because their friends are using substance. They use substance because they want to feel among, they want to belong. You find yourself, there is a particular, group of, young people around your, vicinity. You want to gain that acceptance. They keep telling you about substance. They keep, convincing you why you should start using substance with them. They tell you some of the perceived positive impact of using substance, and before you know it, you bow to that pressure and you begin to use. A lot of young people that use substance today bow to peer pressure. They are using as a result of peer pressure. And then secondly, we have adolescents. Adolescence is a developmental stage between the age of 12 to 18, which the teenage age. That period, the adolescent period is a period of is a window period between childhood and adulthood, where a lot of young people, if this period is not well harnessed, if our adolescents are not well guided, they end up, one of the social problems they end up having in that period is substance abuse. Why? Because the adolescent age is one age where these youngsters, they like to experiment everything. Considering the hormonal changes they experience, the puberty age when, like in the male child, the adrenaline, the testosterone, a lot of hormonal changes are beginning to occur, and physical changes. It's also a period where they like to experiment a lot of things. That period of transitioning from childhood to adulthood is one age where a lot of them, they like to, like I said earlier, it's one stage where they want to experiment. It's one age of they want to experiment. They want to, they want to test a lot of things. So the adolescent stage is also a factor why they use substance. Then another factor I would like to talk about is advertisement. Yes, advertisement. In our media, both electronics and print media, you see socially acceptable drugs being advertised, like alcohol and cigarettes. You see these adverts on TV, you see them in newspaper and all of that. And the way these adverts are done or being aired, the glamorous parts of these substances is what is being aired. At times you see the celebrities that these advertisement companies the celebrities that use this substance in the course of these adverts, the flair with which they use this substance and the glamour that comes with it.
Yeah.
It's easier to convince the young mind.
And most of these ones serve as role models.
Yes, it's something they should experiment. Like when let's say the ambassador of a particular brand of alcohol or cigarette is used in an advertisement and it happens to be a role model to one of these young people, then it becomes convincing that if this person I'm looking up to is using this substance, there's the glamour, the flair, they get convinced to try out this substance. And one of the things this advertisement do not actually reveal or show, one sad reality they don't actually show, they don't show us the negative impact of substance abuse. Like an addict in chains and all of that, they won't show you that. They only air the part, the flair, the glamour, of using this substance. They make it so glamorous, and our young minds can easily, fall prey of these adverts, and then they go into experimenting, and then they become occasional users. From occasional users, they become regular users. From regular usage, they go into dependence and addiction. And another factor I would also like to highlight, I will just list them as we go. The parenting style is another part. Is another factor that explains why young people use drugs. That is factors that emanate from the home front. How an individual is parented, it's a factor. The nanny factor is there, which I would like to explain. For some reasons you find homes where both parents are working, and in order to have the children being cared for, they bring in nannies. And most of these nannies, a lot of them do not actually. A lot of these nannies end up drugging children. Children that are placed in their care. Like we had a case where a nanny was always in the habit of putting the young child to sleep by giving her drugs, by giving her Valium 5. At that young age, exposing the child's brain to a psychoactive substance like that over time predisposes that individual to use it when he or she grows up to being an adolescent or an adult. So there are other factors like inadequate parenting, single parenthood, the culture is a factor, ignorance, availability of drugs is another factor, frustration, unemployment, and all that.
Okay, Dr. Simon, I would like to come to you. You are with the Federal Medical Center. I know that you have also had contact with a lot of young people who come to your office to have one or two, or maybe some of them who are brought in by parents or guardians. What are some of the reasons that are given for this involvement, or for their involvement in drug abuse?
Okay, like Mr. Abadja said, some of the reasons depends on the individual situations, but just that some of the reasons cut across most clients that I've seen. And in addition to what you say, curiosity is one of the reasons. Young people, they are very curious about knowing what is happening, about knowing the content of a particular drug, about knowing how it feels. So they begin by being curious. Maybe their parents have used and they are talking about it. So they become curious about it, and then from the curiosity they want to test, and the trend goes like that. And then some use it to perform better. Some people are into sport, some people are into daily laboring work. So for example, some people take tramadol to work better on site, so that they don't feel pain. It can enhance their performance. Some use it to enhance sexual performance. So there are various reasons. Then some even use it to handle emotional situations like frustration, breakup. They vent their anger on substance. In fact, I saw a client yesterday, and I asked him why he was using his drug of abuse. I think it was cannabis, cigarette, and alcohol. And I'm just quoting. He said he uses it to ventilate his feeling, and that anytime he's frustrated, either he goes womanizing or he's smoking, and so you can understand his own reason from his own perspective. So, and others use it to feel good. There are some people that have what we call co-occurring disorder. Co-occurring disorder means you have one sickness and then there's another one. So you may be using one drug to thinking that you are treating the symptom of a particular drug. Maybe some people cannot withstand standing on the stage the way we are. So before they come, they will take a drug to calm them down. And then as a result, they will be able to perform their activity. And so because that is the kind of job they do, anytime they are faced with public, to speak in the public or have anything to do in public situation, they will take the drug just to make them feel calm and perform their job. And before you know, it graduates, just like you said, from regular use to then it becomes a problematic use. Then the unemployment situation, I think he mentioned it, and then the kind of environment we find ourselves, you cannot predict what will happen to you the next day. So people handle negative emotions poorly with substance use and other things. Yeah. So those are some of the reasons. There could be other, but those are the one I can remember in addition to what he has said.
Okay, Dr. Simon.
Yeah.
How do these drug users or even young people access the drugs? Where can they get it from?
Okay. It depends on the kind of drugs and where the person is and for the purpose the person is looking for. I've classified what we call drug into two: prescription drugs and maybe illicit drug. Illicit drugs are drugs like cocaine, crack, cannabis. These are illicit drugs. And then prescription drugs like anti-malaria, tramadol, codeine, pentazocine. If it is prescription drug, you can get it from pharmacies, you can get it from patent medicine dealers, you can get it from doctors, nurses, mental health professionals, you can get it from them. But if it is illegal drugs, then you can get it from drug dealers. The users know the dealers. You can just call your dealer, you just drive to your house, you wear dress and hand over. Maybe if it is cocaine, hand over to you. If it is a place that is where produce, you can just tell him, put it under the flower. He will call you, he's there, he will go pick it. And then there are these drug people that hawk drugs around. If you go to the north, you see them a lot. They also sell some of these illicit drugs, and then you can also, your friends can give you. But if we are in a restricted place, maybe somebody in boarding school, rehab centers, maybe staff of the place, they can get it from canteen. They can use security guards to sneak in the drug. So there are several means depending on the drug you are looking for. You are looking for me to say there are several ways you can get them. Yeah.
All right. So, Abuja, I want you to tell us some of the dangers involved in drug abuse or drug substance abuse.
The implication of drug abuse, it's classified into by the time we begin to state it, I wouldn't like to just dump everything into one pool. I would like to classify it into first social implication, health implication, and psychological implication. For the purpose of this discussion, there are social implications of using substances, where it borders on not just the individual, but the family system, the school, and the social environment. looking into the social implication of using drugs, we have things like violence and destructive tendencies. It's one of the social implications of using substance. Breakdown of law and order in the family, in the school setting, workplaces, and the society generally. These are social implications of using substance. Loss of individual respect, worth, and dignity. It's also one of the social implications. We have cultism. We have, like I was speaking somewhere. If you look at the issue of substance abuse and cultism, they are mutually exclusive. A substance abuser has a tendency of becoming a cultist, and if you look at it, every cultist uses drugs. Almost every cultist is a drug abuser. So cultism is one of the social implications of substance abuse. We have theft and crime, thuggery, kidnapping, assassination, terrorism, armed robbery. These are all the social implications of using drugs. And then looking at the physical or health implication of using of substance abuse, one, we have damage to the brain, lungs, and liver. Because if you look at these substances, one of the first places a psychoactive substance exerts its effect is in the central nervous system, of which the brain is the chief organ that receives the large percentage of the impact of this substance is the brain. So it deals serious blow to the central nervous system, the brain specifically. And then while it is doing that, the liver, the lungs are also involved, like in the case of people who use cigarettes, the lungs, who smoke, who administer substance via smoking. Smoking is just one of the routes through which substances are administered into the system. So those who administer substance by smoking, they usually have issues with their lungs. And then when substances that are swallowed, the liver is given the job of breaking down or metabolizing this substance. In as much as the psychoactive effect is felt by the brain, but other organs in the body are faced with other repercussions, like the lungs, the liver. In addition, one other health implication of using substance is high blood pressure and irregular heartbeats is one of it. We also have issues like those who inject drugs. They are at risk of contracting hepatitis, HIV/AIDS, and the physical impact of substance, they are just enormous, And we also have the emotional or psychological effect of substance abuse. A lot of substance abusers from experience and practice are emotionally unstable. It's one of the impact of it. Emotional instability. We have violence. We have issues like still talking about the emotional impact, memory loss. Breakdown of personal hygiene and personal care. These are the few emotional or psychological impact I'll be able to enumerate now.
Now, there are also young girls. Most of our young girls have also gone into drug abuse. I want to ask this question in two parts. I hope that you get it. One, most of our girls also get into drug abuse. What are the dangers involved? We've been talking generally on the danger, but I'm being specific now for the young girls that's also engaged in drug abuse. And then, looking at, beside the dangers now, let's also get how help can come for people who are ready to actually get help. People who are seeking help, how can they actually get help?
Substance abuse across different genders deals the same implication. It has the same implication for both the male child and the female child. The physical implications, the psychological implication, as well as the social implication is the same across. The danger it poses among the male child is the same with the female child. In as much as, like you said, there are cases of young ladies and even women who abuse not just socially acceptable drugs, but illegal drugs, illicit drugs, cocaine, heroin, phencyclidins, amphetamines, methamphetamines, cannabis, name it, across board. The use of substance is the prevalence among male. Yes, yeah, research statistics has it that male abusers are more than female abusers, but the implication is the same across board. But you see, there is an implication. The only aspect I will slightly, differ is the teratogenic impact of substance.
Okay.
Teratology has to do with the birth defects, birth defect during pregnancy. What can happen to an unborn child when undergoing prenatal development within, within the womb? Substances, psychoactive substances, the substances we're talking about, it's been established to be a potent teratogen. What is a teratogen? A teratogen is an agent that has the potential of causing a birth defect before a child is born. Alcohol, cannabis, heroin, psychoactive substances generally are teratogenic. And when a woman is pregnant, if a user, or when a woman is pregnant, he or she is advised, no matter the emotional or physical changes that occur during pregnancy and you want to cope with, you are advised never to look at substances like alcohol or cigarettes or any form of psychoactive substance as a way of coping with the stress of pregnancy, because it is revealed by obstetrics and gynecology that a woman does not have her own blood. A baby does not have her own blood, his or her own blood. The mother's blood flows through the baby. So if at any point in time the blood from the mother that flows through the baby is drugged, charged with psychoactive substance, that will have impact on the developing brain of the fetus.
Dr. Itodo, would you like to add something to what your colleague has said?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I said almost everything, but I just want to add that if you look at the woman gender, she's uniquely made, and I want to believe that the drug has a unique way of dealing with them that look quite different from the men gender. For instance, if you keep a man and a woman and they are using the same drug over time, you will discover that the woman will develop problem before the man. That process is called telescoping. The woman will actually develop problematic use before the man, and then whether he use smaller quantity or not. So what that means that the way God has made the woman body, they are more vulnerable to effect of drug than the man. Then if you look at the reproductive system, he's touched it briefly, but I just want to mention some specific disorders that are associated with women that use drug in pregnancy. They could have what we call neonatal abstinence syndrome, whereby if you are a heavy drug user during pregnancy, your baby may develop what we call withdrawal symptom at birth. And the withdrawal symptom depends on the particular substance. It's not something you can generalize. What symptoms of withdrawal that alcohol produces is different from cannabis, is different from opioids. So we'll not go into that. Then, particularly for alcohol, a woman that uses alcohol during pregnancy, heavy use, the child may develop what is called fetal alcohol syndrome, and then the baby may have a low birth weight. There could be premature delivery, and there could be issue with conception if you use different drugs. So that could be quite unique to women, because a man doesn't experience reproduction, don't carry baby and all that. So those ones are unique to women.
Okay, so drug abuse itself does not have any ability, have any effects on the ability of a woman to give birth, or even a man. Does it affect them in that way?
Yeah, just like I said, it may affect conception, and it may affect the fertility. of the man's sperm. So it has a way. Yeah, yes, but I cannot say for sure the strong correlation, but it has an association either to affect the woman's chance of depending on the drug of abuse anyway. It can affect your chances of the viability of your sperm, and then the chances of conception by the woman.
Okay, about I earlier said that you would tell us about some of the help, how people who want to get help can actually get into seeking help from the appropriate authorities or the appropriate channels. However, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, you will give us more on that. All right, welcome back. You're still watching Youth Time on Benue Television, Makudi. Well, we're talking about drug abuse among young people. And we still have Dr. Simon Itodo as well as Aboje Ojebe who are doing justice to the topic here. Well, Aboje, before we went on that break, I said you were going to tell us where one can get help for those who are seeking help. Some people are actually shy when it comes to seeking help on how to get off drugs. Where can one actually seek help?
Before I hit on the question specifically on where um, substance abusers can get help, I would like to state that the problem we are tackling today, which is the abuse of drugs among young people, is a relationship or is a marriage between drug demand and drug supply. Uh, if we are looking at tackling this problem that has bedeviled our society, that has become a menace to society, that have bedeviled our young our youngsters, we look at tackling both the issue of drug supply and the issue of drug demand. Like we have the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and other security agencies who primary responsibility is to track down on drug supply. What they are actually doing is drug supply reduction, where you see NDLE operatives, cracking down on, drug peddlers and traffickers. There is a law enshrined in our constitution that tracks them down, prosecutes them, confiscates, the drugs in their possession and destroy them and all that. That is the area of drug supply reduction. But what we are doing here, what we are looking at, there is also another area which is drug demand reduction, which is reaching out to young people, those that have started using already, those that are users that want to stop using, those that have developed substance abuse disorders, and even those that have not used at all.
Okay.
Activities that revolves around prevention and also helping those that have started using and also those that have developed problematic usage. All of these operations or all of these activities come under what we call drug demand reduction. So in drug demand reduction, we have two areas. We have the area of treatment and also the area of prevention. So if you look at treatment, the question you ask, how can young individuals who are abusing substance get help? Of course, there is help, which the problem is a lot of these drug users are not aware that there is professional help, that there is help. In as much as the international communities are partnering with bodies and with non-governmental organizations and even the government to see to it that centers are established where people can get help. But as I speak to you confidently, there is help. A substance abuser who wants to stop using there is help. Like in this city, as I speak to you, there are rehabilitation centers where substance abusers, not necessarily those that have developed substance use disorders, like we call addiction, even when it gets to that extent, there is help. We have facilities. There are rehabilitation centers where such people are sure of getting help. If an individual who have used substance to a point of developing dependence, of course, is a problem, is a disease. It is classified as a disease. Professionals, my colleague here will agree with me that addiction is defined as a chronic relapsing brain disease that is characterized by tolerance, withdrawal syndrome, and dependence, as the case may be, is a brain disease. And people with this problem, what we tell society, when we go out to bring sensitization campaign, we tell people addiction is a disease. But society views and treats substance abusers as people who have perpetuated something.
Below,
They
yeah.
treat them, if you start looking at them as perpetrators, you will not recommend or even provide the help that is needed. But when you see them as people that are in need of basic health care, you see them as individuals that are in need, individuals that are in trouble and are in need of basic health care. The compassion and the willpower to link them to care will be there. So there is help for substance abusers. There is help for substance abusers. There are rehabilitation centers. In this city, there are rehabilitation centers around who have who have success stories of helping individuals with substance use issues. And also, we have a secondary healthcare facility like the Federal Medical Center with a psychiatric unit. And the mental health practitioners, in that department are doing justice to substance abuse issues. Like my colleague, I am happy he's a senior clinical psychologist in the Department of Psychology, Federal Medical Center. The department has capable hands that deal with substance related issues. you know and I myself, primarily, what I do, I'm both a prevention and a treatment practitioner. But what I do primarily, I am also into prevention. So those that are in the facilities, in the rehabilitation facilities, in the healthcare system, providing treatment for those that are already using, for drug abusers who want to stop using, there is care, there is professional help. Those that have developed addiction, there are facilities to help them to provide treatment services. And those of us who are in prevention, we are also, taking campaigns, taking prevention activities to, where we need to take it to, like the schools, the family, the workplaces. Our hands are on deck. We are working in collaboration with treatment practitioners to be able to have a holistic drug demand reduction uh, uh, intervention in the society.
That's good to know. Now, I also want to ask Dr. Simon. He had also mentioned the Federal Medical Center, the psychiatric unit. This is one place that a lot of people, I mean, are afraid of. And then for a lot of people, they don't want to seek help in these facilities because people regard them or conclude that they have
Crazy.
mental issues
Yes.
or they are mad people, so to say. A lot of people, once they see you in that particular unit, people term you as a mad person, one who is insane. How can you correct this, as you also tell us some of the ways that we can also get help, besides what Aboja has just said?
Yeah, I think it depends on at the stage that you are seeking help. If you have developed addiction, there is no other way to call it. It is a mental illness. If you have developed addiction, and you that is the place to go if you want to face your problem. That is the place to go. You don't have any other place. Because even if you go to a private place, you are going to see a mental health professional. Either you are seeing a psychologist, you are seeing a psychiatric nurse, they are seeing a psychiatric. These are purely mental health professional that they don't treat malaria, they don't treat cancer. What they do with brain and behavior. So the fact that you know that this problem is related to your brain, but you don't want to seek help in a place where brain related problems are treated, it shows that you are still in your denial stage. Yeah, it means you have not appreciated what is happening. But I'm not saying that every person that use substance is addicted, but you could just realize you have made a mistake, and then you quickly turn a new leaf. You can contact a mental health expert. There are some of us are into private practice. There are government facility, teaching hospital is there, federal medical center is there. I don't know whether NAF based they have there's a psychiatric in NAF based. You can go there. Then there are a number of private facilities that I know. I don't know if I should mention. So
No,
that
I think that's
we
okay.
have a rescue city medical center is dedicated to rehabilitation of people with substance use disorder. That is the only thing that hospital does, and they are doing it very, very effective. But drug treatment is very costly. It's one of the most costly diseases that I've ever seen. It's not a place that you can go and you think you spend small money. So the best way is to not to start at all, because treatment is very, very, especially rehabilitating somebody that is already um, um, come down with addiction is a big challenge. So the what I advise when I have this kind of opportunity is, once you suspect that you're having a drug related problem, contact a mental health expert. The person, he or she will pick it up from there. If it is not something he can handle, he will refer you to where there are better help or there are better facility. But if you say you have a problem and you don't want to speak out because of stigma, it then means that you're not ready for help. You are not ready. If you are ready, stigma will not be your problem, because what your health will become your priority. It's when you are alive that you talk about stigma. But one thing about people with substance use disorder that have experienced over the years, that they hardly seek help. They don't even know that they have a problem. And that is the hallmark of addiction. You are seeing somebody falling in the gutter, he can no longer uh, carry out his normal activity. You could see problem all over him, but if you ask him, he will never admit. In the course of my practice, I have always seen two clients that have come on their own. Other, you have to use police to pretend that you are arresting them and taken to police station. Then they will find themselves in the rehab home. Some have to be practically bundled and brought to the facility. So the major problem is not whether there is stigma or whether you are going to a public place. The major problem is that those people don't know they are sick. And because they don't know they are sick, they can give you thousands of reasons why they will not go to the hospital. They can rationalize, they can say anything, but the major problem is that they don't know that they have a disease. So making them to know that there is a problem is the first point of call. And once they appreciate, they should locate a mental health expert anywhere they are. Help will come.
All right. So now you have just mentioned the fact that, okay, there are ways to get help. Now, for some people who may have drug users or drug abusers in their families,
So
or
drug use problem.
or drug use problems.
Yeah.
Thank you. For those who have drug use problems in their environment, probably family and school or just around them, maybe as friends, what are some of the signs and symptoms that you easily can tell from a drug user or abuser?
Okay. You will appreciate the symptom better if you know what we call premorbid personality of the person, how the person was living, how he goes about his normal activity, how he conducts himself, how he behaved before the problem sets in. But so from the perspective of when he was okay, you could know when he's deviating from normal. For instance, if you have a friend that goes to work every day, come back, take care of his family, he's always with them, and then suddenly he doesn't go to work again. You are seeing him maybe joint at a joint. You are seeing him always beating his wife. You are seeing him smelling alcohol or other substance. You are seeing him falling, staggering. You should know that something is wrong. You are seeing a student who, at the point of entering to the university, was doing well from secondary school academically, and suddenly the grade is begin to drop, and then you discover he's no longer attending class, and then after investigation he is using substance. You know that something has gone wrong. However, people with substance use disorder, their personal hygienes are usually poor. Not all of them, depend on the substance of abuse anyway. The hygienes are usually poor. They neglect their duties. If you are their co-worker, you will be tempted to be doing all of their job. They have excuse not to come to work. They don't have the zeal to pursue daily activity. I think I've mentioned that before. And um again, it depends on a particular substance. Some could easily pass out. People that use opioid related drugs. I remember I was with one guy. He took a lot of codeine and went to church. After Reverend Father said the closing prayer, at the doorstep, he just passed out. He collapsed, and he has to be taken home. So it depends on the substance. Then some for who are injectable drug user, you could see the scars, what we call injection abscess. You see wounds all over their body. I've seen quite a lot of them, and then you think is a bond, but a close examination, you will see that this is not a bond something, and you begin to ask. They will tell you that is the site they have been injecting themselves, and they will divert. So there are many. They usually have problem with law enforcement agency. They have history of arrest. They have history of stealing. They have history of selling of their property. A drug user can maybe have phone of 100,000 and sell it for 20,000 if he's craving for a particular substance. So there are so many history that you can question, that you can ask, and you can quickly pick if this person is using a particular substance. But their life are always scattered. They don't move forward. They are always one step forward, two step backward, and it's just like that. If there's anybody listening to me right now that is having problem with addiction to any of these substances, I want to tell the person that he needs to seek help. It is not his fault, and that what he's having is a disease, like you have malaria, that you have cancer, that you have HIV. So what he's having is a disease. It's not a character flaw. It's not as a result of a lack of spirituality. It's not because he has not been praying well. There is a sickness, and he cannot help himself. There is need for that person to seek help. Contact a mental health professional so that you can begin to get help. Then to the society, it is true that people in the society stigmatize people with mental illness, or see people with addiction as people that have character flaw, they are bad girls, they are bad boy. But that is a wrong belief. What the person is having is a sickness, is a brain disease, and what you need to do is to lessen the burden for the person by not stigmatizing, making negative statement towards that person, so that he can come out. And if you know a source of help, rather than stigmatizing the person, talking at his back, please connect him or her to a source of help, and stop stigmatizing against people with substance use disorder.
All right. But I'll just, in your closing remarks, I would also want you to talk to young people out there with big dreams who have gone into drug abuse and are struggling right now with their career, with their dreams and aspirations. What would be your word to them as we close up?
Um, Um, to my fellow young people out there, fellow youths, teenagers, young adults, full of life and big dreams, of course, full of dreams. No, nobody's dream is small and no dream is big. The few words I would like to leave you with this point is if you have um, gotten into substance use and maybe at a point your mind is telling you it is not yet a problem, but I would like to say to you that it is a problem. It is a problem, and it's a problem that needs to be arrested before it begins to truncate that dream that you've conceived or what you plan to achieve. Someone made a statement many years ago, which has guided me. He said, if there is a turn on your dress that is not addressed, it stands a chance of turning that dress into a rag. So if you are indulging with substance use, you may say, your mind may be, telling you that you it's not yet bad. I am not yet an addict. I can still, help myself. I can still stop using substance when I need to stop using or when I want to stop using substance. Everyone that became addicted to substance abuse, that became dependent on substance today, there was a point in his or her you may an individual may slide back into usage and go back to the pre-treatment condition. So when I looked at all of those, I decided to go back to treatment. I decided to go to prevention. I gave myself up to trainings to begin to provide prevention interventions in families, in workplaces, in school, because it is better not to indulge in substance use than to indulge and you're finding a way of coming out. So,
So much
Thank you
for
very
being with
much,
us
sir.
on the program. And to you, Aboje Ojebe, thank you so
Thank
much
you very
Thank
much
you.
for your
having
time.
me.
Thank you very much.
Well, viewer, that's how much we can take on the program today. My name is Jude Alaki. I say stay off drugs.
And my name is Dorcas Chia. Thank you very much for watching.